Hi, this is Laren. I'm the head of product for Beatport, and today I will be giving you and walking you through what is Beatportlink, how can you use it, how it can improve your music and DJing experience, and I will be giving you a little bit of a walkthrough on how to use Beatport DJ within your Chrome browser, and we'll touch point as well on how you can load the playlist that you've created within Beatport DJ and how can you perform these either on denim players, or in this case today we will be showing you Rekordbox and how to load playlists within Rekordbox to get you going and performing. So to get the ball rolling, what is Beatportlink? So Beatportlink is a dedicated DJ streaming service. So it's built on the link technology. So in addition of Beatportlink, you can also choose the service, the catalog from our sister company, which is BeatSource. So they're built on the same framework. The difference between them is that Beatport is curated content for electronic music, whereas the BeatSource catalogs are there for the open format community. However, what I will be showing you today is in essence exactly the same across the two platforms. Now, with Link, what you'll have is an instant access to millions of tracks directly into any DJ performance software. So earlier I just mentioned Denim DJ and Rekordbox. We have quite a lot of few partners as well that we're integrated with, and quite a few coming up as well, which we'll touch point in a little bit as well. The beauty of Link, what Link gives you is really unlimited access to cross-platform playlists. So we didn't set any nonsense limits when we were designing the product, so really designed to give you that creative freedom. And any playlist you create on Beatport, the Beatport DJ, and this applies also to BeatSource as well, they will be instantly accessible across any platform. So if today you're using Rekordbox, tomorrow you're using Serato, or you're using the Denim players, for example, these playlists will load immediately and you have access to them and you can start pretty much performing straight away. Being DJing, being a DJ company, we value a lot the audio quality. So in this case, we give you the highest audio quality we can. It's not quite lossless yet, but that's what we're working for. But we will touch point on this in a little bit as well. And what Beatport is particularly known for is the curation aspect of it. So we have a dedicated team of curators that handpick thousands of tracks on a daily basis, put playlists so that you can pick and choose these playlists as well and help you get going and performing as well. And as a platform, Link has been designed with any DJ in throughout their journey. So it doesn't matter if you're a beginner DJ and you're just getting started, or else you're a seasoned DJ, you've been DJing for the last 15-20 years. You can use Link to really plug and play within your existing collection. This is super interesting, and later on while we're going through Beatport DJ as well, I will show you a few interesting ways that I've used Link in particular to expand my creative freedom as well. Before we take a deep dive, I would like to guide you a little bit as well throughout the evolution that we've been working towards. So when you look at the whole timeline of things, CDJs have been introduced back in 1994 thanks to Pioneer. Since then, we came a very long way. But as you can see on this timeline here, it took almost a decade until CDJs became the international club standard across the globe as well. In the meantime, we were in that transition period between vinyl and CDJs. Along the way, Beatport has launched with its brand new store back in 2004. It was quite a revolutionary thing. It was a fresh of breath air for DJs that were in the process to transition to the digital era. Along the way as well, there has been a vast amount of technology that some of these legendary softwares has evolved or merged into platforms that we actually love and use on a daily basis this day and age as well. Moving past the CDJ era, In 2009, Pioneer introduced the CDJs 2000, which introduced the dawn of USB. And this is where the digital era really started to take off, and we started preparing in a way, leading the way to what we're used to now. So since 2009, we can say we've been using predominantly USB. Majority of DJs been using USB to load their MP3s, WAV files, F files, or multitude of other formats into their catalogs, and collecting their catalogs within their USB sticks in order to perform. And as you can see here, it was between 2009 and 2012, so there was a couple of years there until the adoption of USB has been widespread, and you are guaranteed in essence that you're going to find a USB capable device when you go in for your next gig as well. Fast forward a couple of years, back to 2019, when Beatportlink was introduced to the world was pretty much back as if we were back in 2009 basically. So the players are there, but they're not capable of the new streaming technology. So what we're doing in the meantime is, while we're waiting for the technology to catch up, we're really developing and fine-tuning our products. So when that time comes in a year or so, we will be able to serve you the most stable, most advanced solution there for your performance as well. And there's a various multitude of benefits as well that comes along with Link, which I will touch into in a little bit as well. And as you can see, as we started rolling in the first quarter of this year, we introduced Beatport DJ. So what we've been doing over the last 2 years, we've been listening to the users, that is you, listening to your feedback, understanding exactly what your needs are, and really started working on these pain points to really give you something and develop something that help accelerate and develop your life as a DJ and guide you throughout your career. Now, how is it for as a platform? So we touched on this in a little bit earlier. So as a product, it's there to plug and play within any workflow of any DJ. So for a beginner DJ, so if you're a beginner DJ, for example, this is an incredible tool for you. I wish 17 years ago when I started DJing, there was a service such as Beatportlink that will help me define my sound. Back in the day, we had to go to the record shop, pick and choose a couple of records, perform them the evening or within the first gig you'll get, see what works, see what doesn't work. You put the other ones that don't work on a shelf, or maybe you trade them with other DJs until you define your sound. With Beatportlink, you have millions of tracks accessible within your disposal, and you can pick and choose and fine-tune the sound that will really work for you. And this is exactly what we're doing here with Beatportlink. If you're a seasoned DJ and you would like to maybe expand your collection, have a couple of radio shows like I have, for example, you can use Beatportlink to really find new music and have that fresh content coming on a weekly, on a daily basis as well. And you don't have to go through the good old ways of finding the track, buying it, go through the whole hassle of a payment gateway, downloading it, analyzing it in your software, etc. So those barriers with Link start really getting condensed. And the beauty here is that with Link, we're gonna really speed up the way you prepare your DJ sets. And in essence, our goal here is to spend less time preparing and more time performing. And once we dig into this a bit deeper, you're gonna really see the benefits that we're talking here. So good question, and this is something that's asked by our users and artists alike on a regular basis. Every time we talk about Link, this question comes up. So I want to be very discuss this with you as well, so you can know and understand what file formats we deliver. So with Link, we had chosen a file format that is very optimized for streaming. MP3 is good, but not the most ideal service layer to get music across. So we decided to go for AAC. AAC comes in a very smaller package, however, it retains as much audio quality as a 320 MP3, and if you really dig deep into the spectrum graphs of an AAC file, you will see that the low end and the high end spectrum side of things is a lot more robust, it's a lot more contained. So you're not losing that degradation within the bass to shake the dance floor, or the high ends to really get that resonant frequencies to stand out. So with Link, we have several tiers. So there's Link Pro and Pro Plus. With Link, so with the entry-level Link, you get 128 AAC, equivalent of 192 MP3. And then the Link Pro and Pro Plus, which are more club ready, you get 256 AAC, which is the equivalent of 320 MP3. Now, mention the subscription tiers. I put this here so you can have a quick idea within this walkthrough. But if you'd like to learn more about our tiers and their difference, and as the product evolves, some things will change here as well, you can visit our website link.beatport.com, where you can find a lot more information with regards to the pricing subscription tiers, and you will be able to see in your own currency as well. Now, when it comes to connected platforms, we have quite a multitude here. So we're working with all the partners to really make sure that we have you served, and there won't be anything that is missing as you're on board or embark or keep on developing your DJ life. So all the features within Link vary between different platforms. However, the core functionality, so the music delivery and the performance layers, are exactly the same. So we're currently integrated with Serato, Rekordbox, Denim Player, so all their Engine OS capable devices have Beatport and BeatSource Link integrated within them. There's Algorithm DJ as well, so that's both the Mac and the iOS version. Hercules with their Juiced software, incredible piece of software, really good, especially if you're starting out and you have a new Hercules controller. They have an interesting recommendation engine built in within the platform that's really good and really helps you discover music. Virtual DJ, and we also have WeDJ, which is an iOS app by Pioneer as well. As we keep on developing further, we're currently working on introducing Link to the Android ecosystem. So we've already started working with partners to bring Link as a technology to your favorite Android device as well. And as we keep on developing as well, we're looking into all the industry standard partners. In this case, we are currently in the early stages of starting a beta version with Tractor DJ, which I know that most of you are using Tractor DJ as well, and this is pretty exciting news. In a way, this is the first announcement of Tractor DJ as well. Now, in order to prepare music and get Link into your favorite DJ platform, we have really worked hard to re-engineer the music experience. So what we did is went on a drawing board and reimagined Beatport for the future. So how will Beatport, which is a record store, will look and function and elevate and add value to the artist that is discovering music. So what we've done is went on a drawing board, seen what matters, studied what matters to a DJ, and started building this platform. And we set 3 pillars for this platform, which is we want to offer an advanced music discovery platform. So this is what with DJs call digging. We'll give you full track playback with complete DJ control, so you can really audition tracks in real time within while you're discovering and digging music. And at the same time, which is the most important thing, is help you build, manage your libraries and your playlist as well. And what we're going to do now, as you can see, I'm going to zoom out from the slide presentation and gonna go straight into Beatport DJ. So in order to log into Beatport DJ, all you need is fairly simple and straightforward. Go head to dj.beatport.com, and all you need to do here is put your username and password. Once you log into the username and password, you're gonna go back straight into Beatport DJ. So in this case, I was on Majestic. I was discovering some music by Majestic earlier. So once you log in, you can go back straight to that point. So as you can see, I already had some decks played here. And what I will do now is I'm going to give you a bit of an overview of what Beatport DJ can do for you as well. So I use this use case here because this platform is designed to keep you coming and keep you discovering music. So if you leave your Beatport DJ application standby for a couple of days and you log back in again a couple of days later, once you log in, you're gonna go back straight to where you left off. So you can see earlier I was playing, there was a part of a track that was started, another track that has been progressing as well. So you can really leave off where you left, or else if you want to start from scratch, you're always gonna land on the discover page. So now let's take a deep dive, and I will be walking you through step by step and explain features as we go along as well. Now, once you open Beatport DJ, you're gonna have the three sections. So we have the first section here, which is the DJ player. So this is where you have all the cool fun, as in this is where we're gonna have a lot more fun. We're gonna listen to music, we're gonna manipulate it, you're gonna have the full digging experience. On the left here, you can see all the playlists that I have created since I had my link account. So one question that gets asked as well from time to time is, what if I stop my subscription because I don't know, maybe I don't have any gigs next month, but I have gigs the month after? Will the playlist be retained? The answer to that question is yes. So if you have a link subscription, you pause it for a month or stop it for a month and start again, or even after a couple of months, when you come back, you're gonna have the full playlist experience here. So, and I will show you a little bit as well on how you can move playlists from, for example, in this case, I will use Spotify, how you can move some of your existing Spotify playlists into Beatport DJ to really get you going. And then this is the reimagined Beatport experience. So as you know, Beatport is an electronic music record shop. So we're really focused on giving you the most of your record shop experience here. So as you can see, there are the top 100 tracks. So within the discovery page, you have top tracks, and then you can always click on the view top 100, which gives you the full 100 list. And loading tracks is super simple. So all you will need to do in this case is I'm gonna load this track. So you just click on the left arrow, and now I've loaded Make Me Feel by John Summit. And as you can see, which I'll touch point just in a bit as well, you can also set cue points. So we call them hot cues, and we'll show you what you can do with these hot cues as well within the DJ environment. So as you can see, I've loaded that track here, and as soon as you press play, you can see that the music plays pretty much immediately. So once you start playing the music, you can always click on the cue point, for example, to go straight to that point, or else I created the loop point here, and this is going to keep looping as we go along. We also have shortcuts. So in this case, shortcuts, you can find them all within this shortcuts button. So in order to step playback on both decks, in this case, it's a shift space bar, and that's, you can stop, or as you can see, you can start music just by hitting shift and space bar. Now, one thing we've also introduced is DJ sets. So the purpose of DJ sets here is, so these are curated playlists. They're put together like a DJ would. So if, for example, you had a long day's work and you wanna, be a little bit creative after a day's work, but you didn't have time to really dig and prepare a playlist so you can perform, you can just click any playlist. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the Dark Corners playlist. So as you can see, this is an indie dance playlist. And if I would like to save it and add this to my collection, it's just a matter of click save playlist. And as you can see, that DJ set have been added to the list. What you can also do is the drag and drop approach. So maybe, spring is coming. I want to see what the under the sunset is all about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop this over to create playlist. So it's as easy as that. As soon as I let go the trackpad, you can see that the Under the Sun playlists have been added to my playlist. So far we showed you 2 ways of how you can add a playlist to your collection. Now, within the Discover page as well, you're going to have all the DJ charts. So these are charts that are created by you. As soon as the chart is created, it's going to be added to this list, and then you can go and discover, for example, over here, my friend Susie Solar created a playlist. So this is something that I usually go to and pick and choose, or maybe add a few tracks from her collection from time to time to one of my playlists. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click Save Playlist. So the same approach. Or else what you can do is I'm going to create a playlist. We're going to call it Demo Playlist. And I'm going to add several tracks from within this playlist to that collection. So I'm going to hold Command key and I'm going to create an alternative select here. And this is something that you can drag and drop, and you add this to the demo playlist here as well. So what I'm showing you here applies for the Beatport created DJ sets, any DJ charts, and all the other Beatport created playlists. So actually one of my favorite playlists usually are the shortlist. So this is where I found some of my unique sounds as well. So in this case here, usually I go for techno, raw, deep, hypnotic, or minimal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll. So you have the left and right arrow keys that will help you navigate through these playlists. So what I'm going to do here is very simple. I'm going to come to this particular playlist. So as you can see here, I have a playlist that I have created called Digging. So this is my placeholder playlist. So I always find tracks, any track that resonates with me, I put it there, and then when I'm preparing a DJ set, I go into that collection and start picking and choosing, maybe by the artist, by label, by key, or BPM. So all these filter options are available within a particular playlist. So in this case, for example, I would like to see what's going on here. And to really make digging easier, we also added a functionality called Automix. So once you press Automix, what will happen is tracks will start playing pretty much straight away. We have the cover flow approach here, and within the Automix approach, you can also dig a track. So if it is a track that I personally like, what I'll need to do is fairly simple. I'll drag it, and actually this one is something I genuinely like. So as you can see, I'm hovering over a playlist, and within this playlist, I can choose where I want to drop this track. So it's a new track. I want to listen to it in the shortest period of time possible. So it's in the top of the list. So I'm gonna drop it straight into the top of the list there. And then if I want to go back to that particular track within a playlist, you can click on the Automix playlist layer down, and we'll show you exactly where that track is. So if I try to drop this playlist back here again, it's gonna show you that this track is already existing within my playlist. So we're gonna give you this information to make this informed decision in essence. If you wanna add this track within the same playlist, even though it's duplicated as well. In this case, I don't want the same track twice, so I'm gonna click skip. What happens here while we're doing the Automix is fairly simple. So usually at around 1 minute marker, the track will start transitioning from one to the other. And this actually have been and proved to be a really good companion to my work day. So while I'm working, I'm writing some new product features to Beatport DJ, for example. I leave playlists like this, such as the shortest, running in the background. And then when there's that track that really resonates with me and I want to add to my collection, I just come here, click on the track or see which track is playing, and move it to my collection. As you can see within these buttons here, so I will let you experiment with these, but we have the shuffle, which does exactly what it means. So it grabs tracks within this playlist and adds them to the in a shuffle Toda. So the more you press it, it keeps on reshuffling. As you can see, the artwork here is constantly reshuffling. And then also, if you want to skip to a particular track within the cover flow, you can click them, and what we will do is show you that particular track, and then you can click next to queue and we'll move it straight into the queue. Now, that's all about Automix. I will let you explore this. It's a ton of fun. It's something that really helped me discover some incredible music as we go along. Now, I will go straight into the genre pages, and we've done some new changes for those of us that have been using Beatport for a long time. This is a fairly welcome change here. So within the site here, we have the favorite options. So any favorite genres, you can give them the star sign. For example, in this case, if I click on Afro House will be added to my list. If I unclick it, it will be removed from my list. Now, within the genre pages, similar to the Discover page, what we have here is the top 10 tracks, which can be expanded in top 100. We have Beatport playlists, trending artists. So these are all artists that are trending on Beatport right now on this particular genre. So it's based on the top 100 and any other featured playlist. And the same thing applies as well for labels. So this is something that myself and a lot of the users have found it really useful to discover music and really pick those tunes that can really resonate. So if you're new to a, for example, genre, you can say, okay, cool, let's see, for example, in this case, what Chris Liebing has. So once I click on Chris Liebing, we're gonna go straight into Chris Liebing's page. I'm gonna switch the Automix feature here. So once you go into Chris Liebing's page, you're gonna see what tracks Chris Liebing has in the top tracks. This also applies to any other artist, so you can really keep digging as we go along. So one thing you'll notice, for example, is if an artist has charts, Beatport charts, these are gonna be made available here. So in this case, Anna had a reconnect last year. I wanna add this. It was an incredible set, so I'm gonna add it so I can discover it later as well. And within this list as well, you can see, for example, releases and other related artists. So Anna had a track with Miss Kitten last year, so you can see that there's a relation there. And these the artists on this list here are all the artists that have worked at some point or another with Anna. So what we're doing is we're scanning the entire catalog and finding where the relations are. We also display any related labels. So these are all the labels that Anna have released on, and then any related genres. So at a quick glance, I know that Anna has tracks within the techno, peak time driving, melodic house, some electronica, some trap wave, tech house, house and deep house. So these are the genres that Anna has worked on. And as you can see, when you start digging deeper into artists, you're gonna start seeing this list change, and will help you discover what is the main genre of that particular artist as well. So it can be an educational tool as well when you're discovering new artists, and you see how many different genres actually artists work in. So for example, Miss Kitten has tracks here from techno to indie dance to deep house to progressive house, quite a wide range there as well. When it comes to labels, so if for example I'm gonna click on Two Room here, similar approach, so similar look and feel. So we're not changing the layout all the time to keep that level of familiarity. Now, what you're always going to find is the latest release. It doesn't matter if it's an artist or a label, it's gonna live on the top left side, the top tracks of the label. So this is something, especially I use it particularly when I discover a new label or land on a new label. I want to see what tracks they have. For example, in this case, I want to see what Two Room has here, and you can navigate through the entire list. You can also, within any list view, and this is something I find it pretty useful, is you can sort by genre, you can sort by key, for example. So if you're looking for a track in a particular key, for example, let's say I want to load the track in 1A in this case, and then the next track I want it to be 2A, I'm gonna click left and right, and I've added these two tracks pretty much instantly as well, so it gives you the information. This also applies to BPM, and if you're, for example, on an artist page and you click on the view top 100, you can also sort by label. So within a label page, you can see the labels consolidated within each other. So maybe, for example, Chennai, I want to save all the Armada electronic music elements tracks that he released on. I can select those and drop them into a playlist as well. So you can see how easy the workflow is here. Now, moving on to the next section, which is playlist. So this is something we introduced recently as well. And this is an amalgamation of all the playlists that Beatport has created. So Beatport, as I mentioned earlier, we handpick and we hand curate playlists. So what we really created here is a home where all these playlists can live, and it will help you really discover. So in this case, I want to discover some hype music. So for example, organic house down tempo. I want to see what the hype labels within this genre are currently releasing. So you can go straight to it that way. Clicking back on playlist is going to take you exactly where you were. And adding playlist, adding tracks is the same process as we discussed earlier. Now, the next thing here is also collection. So for those of us that have been DJing for an extended period of time, we bought tracks from Beatport, we're gonna have a fairly extensive collection. So any track that I have personally purchased is gonna be available here. And this is another hint. If you use Automix within your collection with the shuffle mode on, it's gonna be pretty cool because you can discover some really cool music that used to play in the past, but maybe it's been forgotten because you haven't played that genre. And then you can really rekindle some creativity and create something that's a bit more playful, maybe a bit more retro, and gives you a new flavor and a new touch to your set. So for example, this one is one of those tracks that I actually forgotten I had in my collection. So what I've done is I clicked on this particular this track title, took me exactly where we are in, and I'm gonna add it into, for example, my demo playlist. And that way, next time when I'm actually preparing my set, I'm gonna go into that playlist, I'm gonna find that track and start building something based on it. Now, moving on to the next section, so just showing you some pointers here. We added a few tools here to really help you navigate a little bit further as well. One of them is full playlist or the condensed view. So it depends on the monitor size, the screen size that you have, you can change. We all have different preferences, so we kept this in mind as well. Something that I personally use a lot when I'm digging because I want more tracks to be listed on my list is the condensed view. So within the condensed view, you're gonna really like minimalize all the control features, and you're gonna focus on the playlist. We also have a full screen feature, which pretty much takes over the whole Chrome browser section here and really gives you an immersive experience. We also have tooltips. So in this case, I want to discover what this section is. So over here, we're using cue points and stored loops. Now, it gives you a little bit of insight. For example, this one is the number of bars we're gonna jump, and this is jump forward and jump backward. So I know that if I press this button, I'm gonna move 8 bars forward or 8 bars backwards if I click this one. So within the deck player as well, we have an FX module. So in this case, I'm gonna play this track, and you can see, for example, on your mixer, you have a slicer effect. You wanna see how it sounds like. And that's also a useful feature. You can also set loops. And if you like this loop, for example, you can save it. So in this case, I think it will be better as a 4-bar loop here. So I'm gonna save it as a loop. And then if you wanna come out of that loop, you just click on the loop and then it moves out again. So in this case, I'm gonna leave this running as a loop. And then I'm gonna use another track. So let's do some digging right now. And I'm gonna go to UK Breaks. I know that this track is an 8A, so I wanna discover a track that might play quite well with it. So in this case, let's try 9A. So we're discovering it might work, it might not work, so it's worth the try. So I'm gonna load this track, and within this track here, So I'm gonna press play, and one of the features of Beatport DJ is designed for music discovery. So we made sure that the sync is tight, it's face locked as well, and it's gonna help you really skim through the track. So as I'm moving along, I'm gonna move the crossfader to middle. So I'm gonna kill the bass here to see how things are working. So we're 8 bars. Actually, this works quite well, and I'm quite happy. So as you can see, I killed the bass here. So maybe I don't want to play at 1 to 6. I want to see how it sounds at the original BPM. So I'm gonna click double click here, went to the original 135 BPM, and you can see that both tracks are really working quite tight together at the 130 BPM. Now, if I want to stop these tracks, so I stop one of these tracks and I'll stop the other. So I want to add this track that I just discovered here into my folder. So I add this to the playlist, and the beauty is, which I'll show you in a little bit when I open Recordbox, these playlists, as soon as I'm creating them, they're gonna be waiting for me in that particular order within Recordbox. Or for example, if you load them in the denim players, you're gonna find those tracks directly into the denim players. So this way we've created a playlist, a very brief, quick playlist. So now I'm gonna come to this demo playlist. So these 2 tracks I've added, so I'm gonna add these 2 to the top of the list. And then, for example, these are trance. It's not something that I want to play today. So I click the backspace button, gives you the option to delete these 3 tracks, and we deleted these 3 tracks here as well. So one thing that you'll know, probably bass, UK bass breakbeat, it might not work well with all the genres, but you can really experiment and you can really discover some new things. And this is one thing that really elevated my creativity since I've been using Beatport DJ, is the fact that you can mix match genres. You can make better decisions, more creative decisions to see maybe this Colombo track might work well with an electro track, for example, and you can really experiment. So let's say this playlist is ready for performance now. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna come down to the bottom of the folder here. I'm gonna click Recordbox, and the moment Recordbox is going to load, I'm gonna find these playlists ready and waiting for me here. So as you can see, Recordbox, I'm using version 6 here. Takes a little while to load, so it's normal, depends on the speed of your computer as well on the loading time here. And as soon as you load Recordbox, you're gonna find all the tracks, pretty much in all the tracks I played within Link are available here within my collection. So there's 735 tracks within this Recordbox session. Now, if I open Beatport and go into my playlist, you can see that all the playlists we added since we started doing this demo are available here. So if I click on demo playlist, you can see that the tracks, so I'm gonna organize the list by the same order it is on Beatport DJ, and you can see the first 2 tracks are the 2 tracks that are there, and the list is always maintained here. Within Recordbox, it's quite important to access Beatport or BeatSourceLink is to be in performance mode. And once you plug in your compatible controller or with an active license, you will be able to load these tracks straight away. So once I load this track here and this track here, you can see the download is pretty instantaneous. And then what Recordbox does is starts analyzing it. So this will take CPU power in order to analyze these tracks. But one thing that you've noticed is that the cue point that I have set here has not transferred across. This is something that we're currently working on with all our partners in order that any cue points that you set within Beatport DJ, they will transfer across straight away. So as you can see, it is as easy as this within Recordbox or all the other connected platforms to really plug and play and add tracks within your own collections and go into the performance route. So in this case, for example, last weekend, I created this playlist called Frisky. So this is for my radio show. However, I didn't use Recordbox to perform these tracks, I used the denim players behind me here. However, some of these tracks were already analyzed, so I picked this playlist on purpose here. So some tracks I've already preloaded few weeks or few months back within Recordbox. So as you can see, there's already the metadata, but the track is not stored offline. So what happens is when I load this particular track here, you see that it first downloads from Beatport, but the beat grid analysis is saved and it is retained. So if you have tracks that you've already played in the past, such as this one, for example, and you load it here, any cue points, any beat grid analysis that you have set within Recordbox is going to be available. So in this case, if I click A, I'm going to go straight to A and it's going to resume playing from that point. For example, that's a cue point that I put in order to jump straight into that part and skip all the intro, for example. Now, within certain subscriptions, so within the Link Pro, for example, and Pro Plus subscription, you also have access to an offline locker. So over here, you can see that I have 27 tracks within my locker. Some tracks have been analyzed, like these two. Some of the other tracks have not been analyzed yet. So if a track is within your locker, it will behave as if it is an actual MP3 file or a WAV file or any other physical file within your computer. So this is a big chunky track. It's 18 minutes long. So I stored this offline. So as soon as I drop it here, you can see the waveform loads instantly because it's stored offline. What Recordbox is doing right now is analyzing the file. Once the file is analyzed, it's going to be available there every single time that you load this particular track. Now, if I would like to add some tracks to my offline lookup, it's fairly simple. So I'm going to go to this playlist and I would like to add this track to the offline lookup. So there's a few ways you can achieve that. It's either a matter of right-click store offline, and what I'm showing you here is more or less the same across all the other platforms we mentioned earlier as well. So if I click store offline, what will happen is the same track is re-downloaded again and it's stored into a dedicated encrypted offline locker. Within Recordbox, we have curated playlists as well. So in addition to Beatport DJ, we have another folder. So when you're really in the thick of it and you're really going through performance and maybe discovering some new music as you go along as well, you can go into the curated playlist folder. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on the minimal deep tech playlist, gonna go to the shortlist, something that I mentioned earlier I like as well, and for example I can start performing with this. So within with your controller or maybe connected to the CDJs, you can really just drop tracks in and you can start performing as well. So that is in a nutshell the power of Link as well. So as you can see, tracks load pretty quickly. The analysis is dependent on the CPU, so dependent on how fast is your computer, etc. The analysis will be dependent on that. However, once a track is loaded, you do not have to worry about losing the Wi-Fi connection. So in this case, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to intentionally switch my Wi-Fi off and I'm going to press play. This track is still going to play. If I connect back to the Wi-Fi, not a problem whatsoever. As soon as you connect to the Wi-Fi, you're going to be able to resume your digging experience or the music playing experience. So these are implemented features that are available across all our platforms to really give you that reliability, because we know as DJs that, you know, if your internet connection drops and you have dead silence, nothing kills the dance floor other than unintentional dead silence as well. So these are built-in functionality within Link that really gives you that peace of mind that you will not ever have dead silence while you're performing using a streaming service. One additional thing, and it will be the last thing I would like to mention today, is that for every track that you play for more than 30 seconds, so it doesn't matter if you're performing or if you're actually digging on Beatport DJ, as soon as there's a more than 30 seconds played, a royalty is being generated, and this royalty will go directly to the artist and the labels as well. So you know for a fact that when you're playing using Link, you're supporting the artist over and over again. So if you have a track that you're really addicted to and you're playing it over and over and over again, those playbacks are really giving royalties back to the artist and the label. So in essence, your performances, your digging experience is really adding value to the Link and to the artist and to the label community out there in the whole electronic music space as well. So this is pretty much a recap and an overview of what Beatportlink, Beatport DJ can do to elevate your experience. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to reach out to us through either the feedback button within Beatport DJ, so you can write directly to us and we review this on a daily basis and add items to our backlog in order to fix bugs, add new features, etc. Or else you can reach out directly to support@beatport.com, where there's a dedicated support team willing and happy to answer any questions that you might have as you go along. I would love to thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate you tuning in. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.